said, look, Hunter Biden took false business deductions. Remember, there were really two cases they were looking at. The false business deductions, which was a tax case, and then there was the gun charges case. And he pointed out the jury had convicted him. And the other case, he basically admitted to the charges against him. So let's get into some of the details of this report. And I want to bring in the man now who tipped me off to its release today. That's the host of Just the News, No Noise, our good friend John Solomon. John, welcome to the show.
Hey, Grant, good to be with you.
It's good to be with you, John. What did you make of this report when you got to go through it?
Well, he didn't put a lot of work into it. When you cut it looks like it's 260 pages. Until you cut it down, it's really only 27 pages of substance. It doesn't address a lot of the important questions like, did what Hunter Biden do constitute illegal lobbying, foreign lobbying? He basically kicks all those questions, saying the pardon erased any ability for me to debate those or talk about those. But it's ironic, and let's remember who this report is coming from. It's coming from the man who tried to give Hunter Biden the ultimate sweetheart deal, and it was only because the IRS agents working under his team objected that we ultimately got a serious conviction of Hunter Biden. But that man, the man that actually tried to give Hunter Biden a sweetheart deal, says for history's sake the following three things. Hunter Biden broke the law. Hunter Biden traded his name for money. He basically grifted. And Joe Biden lied, and he tried to revise history. Those are the words of this report that I think will matter. No one will remember the ins and outs and the IRS agents all, but the government's final word on this case was it wasn't indeed a corruption case. Hunter Biden did trade on his family name to make money. He didn't show up or do much work for it. That's another thing the report says. And his father tried to revise history, even suggesting wrongly that his son was pursued politically for prosecution when, in fact, the government believes very strongly he had every right to be prosecuted for tax felon. But the man who wanted to give him a sweetheart deal says that in 27 pages. History will look back at this. No matter what the New York Times wrote, no matter what MSNBC kept saying for days, the conspiracy theory, it was never a conspiracy theory. It was a political corruption case of massive magnitude. And tonight, even with his weak performance throughout as a special prosecutor, David Weiss solidified that for history.
All right. Did it tie Joe Biden to any actions in office that Joe Biden may have taken to engage or let Hunter Biden be more successful in his money schemes, money making schemes?
Acknowledges that some of these meetings occurred that we've long since reported about. So we know that his father attended the dinners and did some phone calls and other things like that. It doesn't really break any new ground than what you would have seen on Real America's Voice or Just the News over the last 4 or 5 or 6 years when we were writing these stories and people were calling them conspiracy theories. I think the most important part of it is that Hunter Biden didn't do very much work for this money. He did it by trading his political name and the promise of access. And in so doing, he violated the law with taxes particularly. Joe Biden could never get the truth out about it. Joe Biden never told the American people the truth. I think you can see all that in this report. That's about all that's in it.
It's interesting because we wonder how history will actually rewrite these things. And we know the mainstream media does a lot of writing the history, and they're not really honest. I was reading an article from The Hill, John. The Hill writes, quote, you ready for this? There is no evidence that while serving as VP, Biden shifted policy to benefit his son or anyone else. This is a Hill statement, not the report statement. And then I thought to myself, do they not remember this soundbite? John, listen to this.
I said, you're not getting the billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid.
John, that was about the prosecutor in Ukraine. His son was working for Burisma, that the prosecutor was investigating.
That's my story.
I mean,
I broke that original story. I'm the one who found that. I found that video clip. And at the time I found it, I was working at the same Hill newspaper you're talking about now. But they repudiated my reporting. They suggested there was something wrong with my reporting. I think history has shown everything I wrote from 2019 forward was solid. But I found that video. That was the first video and my first story that kicked off the whole Hunter Biden scandal in 19. Then the laptop came in 2020. And that statement today in the Hill, again, I'm not their editor anymore. I have nothing to do with it. But I will tell you this, it's not true. There is overwhelming evidence in the documents I obtained from the National Security Council and the State Department that Joe Biden did change policy. His advisors had decided to give the $1 billion to Ukraine. Joe Biden himself made a decision not to give that money and to threaten to withhold it to force the firing. That's in the documents of the Obama White House that I turned up about a year and a half ago. So even that part of the passage. But what better way for the media to be remembered than even on this night, they can't quite get it right.
They still can't get it right. And, look, I was a mainstream media reporter for a long time, and I know about attribution. You could have used the old reporter trick. Biden staffers say he didn't change policy. You could have attributed it to somebody. They don't even attribute it to anybody. They state it as fact, and it just isn't fact. You know where we get just the facts? The same place we get just the news and no noise from you, John Solomon. I appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you. It's a great honor to be with you, Grant. Thanks, buddy.
Well, the feeling is mutual. It absolutely is. We're lucky to get John on tonight. This news just broke, and so it's great to get his assessment of all of this. I want to turn now to the fire out in Los Angeles, which the winds are picking up now, folks. This is going to get bad again. And I don't think that they are ready for any of this. But you know what they're most concerned about? The governor. Instead of worrying about people, he's got a meeting via Zoom with the president of the United States, Joe Biden, not for long, and this is what he goes after?
I ask you, we've got to deal with this misinformation. There were hurricane force winds of mis and disinformation, lies. People want to divide this country, and we're going to have to address that as well. And it breaks my heart as people are suffering and struggling that we're up against those hurricane forces as well. And that's just a point of personal privilege that I share that with you because it infects real people.
Yeah. What are you going to do about it? You're going to censor us again? You're going to get the social media companies to shut us down for telling the truth? Because the fire hydrants were empty. We know they only spent $200 million on forest fire management for the entire state, while they spent $24 billion on homelessness. We know that they didn't pre-deploy firefighters in L.A. like they should have. Literally no pre-deployment. The screw-ups at every level were huge. How about this for misinformation? They're saying it's a patently false story that 60 Oregon fire trucks were stopped at the northern border of California for emissions testing. Well, it's true they weren't stopped for emissions testing, but that allows them to say the story is, quote, patently false. You know what they were stopped for? Mechanical inspections, checking the brakes of fire trucks. Are you kidding me? State fire trucks from Oregon need to be inspected by the state of California and hold them from the line. They look at us in the face and tell us nothing was delayed. There are no fire trucks. Yes, they were. There's a video I pulled that Cal Fire produced themselves. They admit the delay. This is how dumb they all are there. Watch this.
They're coming from all over Oregon, Washington, Idaho. We were getting vehicles in and out of here, strike teams in and out of here in about 45 minutes.
We inspect all the vehicles, make sure that they're repaired. Anything that's broken, we do fix here on the spot.
Yesterday, we processed close to 133, 134 vehicles. I think by the time we're done, it's going to be well over 200.
Seeing what these guys will do at the drop of a hat. I mean, everyone will drop what they're doing just to come together and to make this happen. It's awesome.
You're inspecting fire trucks. You're worried about the brakes on engines that could be on the line, getting water on fire, saving homes, saving people. This is the idiocy of California. This is what people are sick of. The government gets so entrenched in everything, they literally stopped fire trucks from helping people. This is right up there with firing firefighters for not taking the vaccine. Healthy men and women that didn't need the vaccine. A vaccine that ended up causing more harm than it did good. Well, with me now is a former LA fireman who was fired for just that, not taking the COVID vaccine. John Knox is with us. John, good evening. Welcome to the program.
Good evening, Grant. How are you doing?
John, you look at every step of the way here. Your assessment as a longtime firefighter and what you've been through, lay it on me.
I'd have to say a lack of leadership and a complete mismanagement of resources, money, whether it's at the state level, primarily you look at the city of Los Angeles. I mean, it's an epic failure, under the leadership of Mayor Bass. She said that the $27 million that she had taken from the budget had no effect on firefighting operations. But yet there's plenty of proof that it has. They've taken away hydrant testing. We don't have mechanics to do repairs on our apparatus. Those are falling apart. I mean, they switched to a new payroll system. We have firefighters that aren't being paid correctly for months. They're thousands of dollars in arrears on payments. They're being forced into overtime because we have horrible staffing. The morale is horrible. And then to go out to these fires here that were pre-deployed at maybe 25% of what we normally pre-deploy at is horrific. We knew that this was going to be a major wind event, 80 to 100 mile an hour wind gusts, and we've never seen stuff like that. Those are hurricane force winds. Mm-hmm.
I'm curious. You and there's 24, maybe more firefighters that have been that are not on the line. It's hard to get a real accurate count because of the way everything has gone down, but at least a couple dozen of you. We're pulling in firefighters from Washington State, Oregon. Anybody ever pick up the phone and say, "Hey, John, we could really use you. You want to come back to work?"
No, that's never happened. And the city even said that there was supposed to be a pathway back after they lifted the mandate. And we still have 2 individuals that are working on the job currently right now that didn't comply with the vaccine mandate. And they're working, being paid, but they're waiting to be terminated. How does that make sense when they dismiss this mandate,
All right.
July?
What do you make of the chief? Early on, I criticized her. She was very focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion, hiring more women, hiring more gay people. And I'm the first to say, I really could care less if you're a transgender firefighter or a woman fire. I just want you to be a damn good firefighter coming on when you're going to rescue people. So with that said, I don't think they should be focused on all this. Now, apparently, she's coming back into good graces because she's called out the city. But I want to read to you from her report as everybody considers thinking, oh, well, Chief Crowley is really great. She told the city that they failed her. This was in her report, and it reads about the budget cuts, workforce equity challenges, insufficient staffing delays, promotions, retroactive pay, and reasonable accommodations, weakening morale, and equity initiatives. Quite frankly, John, I don't think anybody cares about the equity initiatives right now. I think they care about firefighters on the line and equipment working and hydrants working.
Yeah, nobody cares, what your pronouns are, and nobody cares what your vaccination status or any of that. And when you look at the wording that's being used and all of this stuff, it's really disgusting. What happened to merit-based hiring? If you can pass the test, you pass the oral exam, all of those things, you should be first in line, right? They rank it on scoring. And we know plenty of people that have been passed up that are super overqualified and, they're hiring based on DEI policies. It's absolutely disgusting.
Last question for you. With all the time you spent in the LA Fire Department, yes, we had high winds. Yes, the planes couldn't fly. My assessment has been that still the damage could have been mitigated. Of course there would have been damage, but the damage could have been mitigated with proper management, leadership, things in place like hydrants working. Do you agree it didn't have to be this bad?
Absolutely. The Department of Water and Power, I think, looks like epically failed. The fact that reservoir has been dry for a period of time, the fact that, firefighters that I've spoken to are running out of water on the line while they're trying to put that out with dry hydrants is unacceptable. The Department of Water and Power has 5 other reservoirs in the state of California that are empty at this time. It's unacceptable. Had we had the money in the budget, we would have pre-deployed fully. I'd just really like to say, before we go, that 100% thank you and gratitude to all the firefighters that are out there, even from the LAFD, that are doing their jobs but are severely restricted due to the mismanagement of city funds.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out, because I don't want the men and women that are on the line fighting these fires to get lumped in with what I would consider brass and city and county management and state management for the failures there. So thank you for that. Thank you for your service to Los Angeles. I hope this all works out for you in the end. This is absolutely ridiculous what has happened to you, John Knox. But I appreciate you coming on tonight. I really do. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Grant. Thanks for covering it.
Absolutely. It's an important story, and we'll keep on it and keep us posted, too, on your journey with fighting the city over this nonsense. All right. Back to Washington now. Joe Biden giving his, I guess is probably, let's hope so, his last foreign policy speech on while president. It's exactly what you'd expect from him. Everything going on. The man is tone deaf. He does not learn that America is shifting gears here. Listen to him.
I know some in the incoming administration are skeptical about the need for clean energy. They don't even believe climate change is real. I think they come from a different century. They're wrong. They are dead wrong. It's the single greatest existential threat to humanity.
This from the guy that got 13 American soldiers killed in Afghanistan. He's talking about that, the single greatest threat to humanity. Tell that to the L.A. Folks in L.A. who had their houses burned down, not because of climate change, because there was no water in the hydrants, because you have illegal aliens setting fires. Yes, there was one arrested with a blowtorch setting fires in California. That's not climate change. That's called open borders. This guy's a piece of work, man. I'll tell you what. Good riddance. Don't let the door hit you in the you-know-what. I'm sorry to get upset about this. I don't want to do this. We have a very good friend from the Heritage Foundation. It's a very buttoned-up organization. I shouldn't be cursing before I bring in my buddy Richard Stern, part of the Heritage Foundation's Federal Budget Center. Richard, welcome to the program.
Well, always a pleasure to be here. Look, I'm with you in terms of how bad things are.
I mean, it's wild right now watching this. I think help is on the way. Part of that help, of course, are getting President Trump's nominations for his cabinet through. We got a big week ahead of us. What do you make? You want to make some predictions, assessments?
I think all those people at this point are going to get through. The people that they couldn't get the votes together on, they've switched out. But I think the major people that he's picking, people like Scott Bessent, the run Treasury, Navarro, a trade rep, some of the other people that are in here, these are all businessmen. These are all people who have been in business, who have been making real policy, who have negotiated real deals. You compare and contrast that to the Biden regime. These were all academics. These were all people who had never done anything in their lives, who had simply published papers and had theories, grand theories about how a centralized state can plan your life better than you can. This is a change, getting all those people out of the way, getting people who know what they're doing, who know how to make the economy grow, who did it the first time, and will ensure that we have prosperity for all Americans.
I can't help but relate it, just as you're talking about these business folks. It reminds me of Karen Bass, who's the mayor of Los Angeles. She was a longtime member of Congress, comes out of the public service sector. She's never run a business. She's never managed anything in her life, and yet now she's running the city of Los Angeles without any experience of how to run an organization like that. Congress, you're basically followers. You follow the party. Maybe you do a little leading, but not a lot. So we got Hegseth with Department of Defense. He's probably the shakiest ground. Maybe our good friend Kash Patel here, just because these are outspoken guys and they want big changes.
Absolutely. But, I think part of this is, when you talk about people like Karen Bass, this is what the left does, right? They anoint somebody. We saw this with Democrats nominating Harris, or if you can call it that. They anoint somebody. They have no competition. They don't allow voters to have a real say. And so they are all these crooked, corrupt politicians who failed in Congress, who failed at other things they've done, who have no real world experience. I'm proud that, frankly, conservatives, we hash it out. We have a real conversation. We make sure that things are transparent. The people have a real say in the matter. Look, I agree with you. Unfortunately, they might be on the shakiest ground, but I'll tell you right here, I think they're going to get through. And I think the reason is that Congress knows what time it is. They know that the American people have had enough of a woke deep state that controls everything. They've had enough of feeling like they can't trust the government. And more critically than that, the FBI, the Department of Defense, these are entities entrusted with vast martial power. And so if you can't trust what they're doing, or that they're following the law, or that they are making a good faith effort to protect the American people, then they shouldn't have this kind of power. So I think those nominees are probably going to get through. And I think Trump is going to be able to force this through Congress, frankly.
I think you're right on that. And you raise a great point about the tyranny that could be engaged. And we really watched with the Biden administration from the leaders of those organizations. I know many of these people personally, some of them really well. Kash Patel is one of them. These are freedom guys. They do not want to step on our personal freedoms from inside government. They'd rather have government out of the way. These are just the kinds of people we want up there. And I know that completely aligns with the Heritage Foundation as well. Richard Stern, it's great seeing you. Great having you on. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, you got it. All right, folks. So we'll watch it. Tomorrow, hearings. I know Pete Hegseth starts his. We'll have highlights of it. Hopefully not too many lowlights from the Democrats, but if there are, we'll play them for you. All right, with President Trump's inauguration just days away, learn why gold is a viable diversification tactic with Birch Gold's ultimate guide for gold in the Trump era, with a foreword by Donald Trump Jr. To get your free copy, simply text America to the number 989898, and Birch Gold is there to help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. Birch Gold has an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau and thousands of happy customers. You can trust Birch Gold. So many of our Real America's Voice viewers do. So text America to the number 989898 for your free copy of the ultimate guide for gold in the Trump era. There is no obligation, only information. All right, next up, we have exclusive new updates to the Cybertruck bombing. The alleged bomber's wife is now speaking out. We have the sound bites and the man who did that interview with us next.
This is our last chance to help save thousands of Holocaust survivors who are suffering in the former Soviet Union today. The needs that these forgotten Jews have are something beyond anything you can imagine.
Have you eaten this morning?
I ate the carrot, so I ate half of it yesterday. And this is what she ate in 2 days, 1 carrot. Please pray for me.
The International Fellowship of Christians and Jews began this ministry to help elderly Jews living in horrible poverty around the world. We urgently need your gift of $25 now to help provide one survival food box with all of the foods they critically need for their diet for 1 month. When you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives.
I have a tremendous love for Israel and the Jewish people. This is why I'm partnering with the fellowship. It gives me a way to authentically bless Jewish people in need around the world.
I believe in God, but I sometimes feel maybe He forgot me. Perhaps you could tell my story, and I would find a matching soul that would understand. I face hunger again.
Please don't delay. Call, scan, or go online now to help rush one survival food box to a Holocaust survivor. When you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives.
This is what God wants from us. Just feed the hungry.
If you hear God's voice, I'm asking you to act now. Do it when it's on your heart. I pray that they'll know in their final months that they're not alone.
Are you having trouble hearing your TV or listening to conversations in loud spaces? Then it might be time to consider Nano hearing aids. The days of expensive hearing aids are over. Nanos are FDA-registered OTC hearing aids. They are powerful, lightweight, and simple to use. And their tiny in-ear design makes them nearly invisible. Plus, they are rechargeable, saving you hundreds of dollars on batteries. Don't be fooled by overpriced hearing aids. Prescription hearing aids could cost $3,000 or more. Nano hearing aids are only $397. But wait, we are so confident you are going to love your Nanos, we are offering $100 off through this special TV offer. Call now and get 2 CIC rechargeable hearing aids for only $297. You get a free portable charging case, free 24/7 lifetime telephone support, free shipping, and a 45-day money-back guarantee.
Call 800-226-2107. That's 800-226-2107.
Folks, I promised you that we would keep covering the case of the Cybertruck explosion outside of Trump Tower and who's responsible, or at least why this all happened. Matt Livelsberger is the gentleman that is accused of setting off this Cybertruck, shooting himself in the head right before. Nothing really seems to make sense. We had started to hear all kinds of narratives come out. It now appears those narratives may be very false. It should be no surprise to you. Public information officer at the United States Army said they were having problems in their marriage, Livelsberger and his wife. They said the DNA did not match his son. It turns out I think they actually had a daughter, and that should have been the first clue that they got it wrong. Well, it looks like the DNA does match. Matt Tardio is a former Green Beret who came on this program to explain the anomalies of this case, and he received a statement from Livelsberger's wife. And it reads, some of it, this. First and foremost, Matt and I were in love and committed to our marriage. We had plans and a future with so many dreams that now will be just a memory to seal for our daughter. Matt was not only excited about our future together, but the future of his career and the new job that he had started. And in no uncertain terms did we have plans or intentions of breaking up or separating. I have no reason to doubt her. Now, what about the claims that the DNA from Livelsberger did not match his newborn child? Well, Matt Tardio interviewed Livelsberger's wife today. Take a look at this.
I think the most sick and twisted thing is once people started talking about how Riley's DNA didn't match Matt's, and it gives that false hope, right? It gives that hope that maybe that wasn't my husband in the vehicle. I immediately called the coroner and I asked if her DNA matched, and she said yes. But it was just definitely a really hard and sick time to, have that going around.
Well, quite frankly, it's a slanderous accusation. And so what would motivate the Army to come up with these wild claims that everybody, including the New York Post, ran with? We reported it here. My apologies for that. Joining me now is the man who conducted that interview with Matthew Livelsberger's wife, former Green Beret, and host of Speak the Truth podcast. You can find that, I believe, on X and other outlets. Matt Tardio is with us. Matt, welcome to the program. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me again. Kind of wish it was under better circumstances, to be honest.
I wish it was too, Matt. What was your takeaway from this interview? I can't wait to hear the entire podcast. You literally just got approval minutes before we came on to run some of these sound bites today, so I thank you for that. But what was your takeaway today?
My biggest takeaway is that she's human and that these lies that are being spread affect real people with real world problems. They're slanderous, and I think a lot of people are really quick to hit that click and share button to try to get their views up, or maybe to make a little bit of money, depending on who they work for. But at the end of the day, there is people at the other side of this that are directly affected by it, and I just wish people would think twice before doing that. If everything, which I believe Jen's word, I'm taking her word, if everything she says is true.
I reported on those claims. I didn't do it for clicks or anything. I just did it because I was reporting on the story and wanted to get information out there as it's coming in. You would think that you could trust the public information officer from the United States Army but we know better than that now. So what would be the motivations of the United States military to spread these lies?
Oh, for the love of Lord, man, do not expect me to speak for the United States military on this one. There is not a snowball's chance in hell of getting inside that mind frame. I couldn't tell you, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know why they would do such a thing. I know that when Sean Ryan put it out on his podcast, he was very quick to question it along with the person he was interviewing. And they sat there and they're like, it doesn't make sense. Why would you even bother grabbing DNA if it's there? And what sense would a mother do giving up DNA if she knew the child was illegitimate or that there would be a chance of it, especially with this high profile of a case? None of that added up or made sense. Brother, I wish I could tell you. I can't. Yeah. I can't tell you what they were thinking.
Opens up the whole other set of, then what are they hiding? What are they trying to misdirect us from? Which I believe that there is something behind this. I want to ask you, there's another soundbite we have. This is about Matthew Livelsberger's wife talking about her husband's plans to meet another SEAL in Colorado. Before I play it, can you set this soundbite up? Why does this matter?
This is him coming home for Christmas vacation. He informed his wife that he had plans to go, and he was talking to his wife about those plans to go up to Breckenridge, Colorado, and in her words, to meet with a Navy SEAL in order to get some drones to take back to Germany. So he was talking about his wife with it when he got home.
Okay, let's play the clip now, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
How was he when he got home, and your time with him when he got home leading up to Christmas?
Yeah, it was amazing. One thing that Matt wanted to do while he was home was get an Airbnb up in Breckenridge. He wanted to do that for a few reasons. One, he wanted our family to be able to just go do something fun together. But he also made plans with a Navy SEAL to meet him in Breckenridge to get some free drones to take back to Germany. So he booked us a really cool Airbnb up there, and he was just like really excited, not only for the Airbnb, but for like the drone piece as well. And we had a fabulous Christmas. It was really nice. We spent it with my family. And then even on the morning of the 26th, Matt made me breakfast in bed.
Wow.
That doesn't sound like a couple in trouble. It also solidifies the claims that he was very excited about his job. He talked about I don't even like calling it a manifesto, but his writings before this bomb went off, he talked about drones and China and the threats to here, and he was working in a drone program, and all accounts where he was excited about that. Again, did she give you any indications in this interview that she thought there was any possibility he might do something like this?
I am going to leave that for tomorrow. I answer to three people: God, family, and country. She goes above country and right below God. She is the wife of a Green Beret who is now deceased. And as far as I'm concerned, she's family, and I have given her the final say-so on any information that's going to get released. And right now, those are the only 2 points that she has given a say-so. Everything else will be released 7 p.m. tomorrow night over on the podcast.
Okay, understandable, and we can 100% appreciate that. So I would urge everyone to go tune into that, because it's been fascinating, all the work that you've done on this. I'm going to leave you again. I mean, we kind of talked about it, but it's the same question everyone's itching to figure out. Was he duped into doing this? I don't like blaming PTSD. I know a lot of guys that served that have PTSD, and they're not violent, and they don't set off bombs. Yes, they have their set of issues, but they don't do things like this. And I can't figure this all out. You have any more leads since the last time we talked about motivation or who's responsible ultimately?
That I don't. I honestly left that interview with probably more questions than I do answers.
It's fascinating, to say the least. Heart-wrenching as well. Will you do us a favor, Matt Tardio? Please give his wife our best. I know they've got a GoFundMe page. You can find that on your Twitter page. If you just put Matt Tardio's name in there, it comes right up. I think it's @AngerTab. The GoFundMe page is up there. I can't remember, Matt, the last time there was a GoFundMe page for someone who set off a bomb outside a hotel especially the Trump hotel. But something's not adding up here, and I feel for this family. I really do.
Yeah, and I want to make it clear, it's for his family and the wake that's kind of been left behind by this entire tragedy. Matt did put a lot of years towards the United States Army and this country and defending its freedom, and she stood by and supported him for a good portion of that time, and I think it's the proper thing to do. Again, she's family, and there's nothing that's going to change that.
Anything else you want to add before I let you go?
Thanks for having me. I greatly appreciate the opportunity.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate the work you're doing, and of course, I appreciate your service to this country. Matt Tardio, thank you.
Thank
you. All right, absolutely. This interview, I can't wait to hear the whole thing. So again, at AngerTab is his Twitter handle, and I urge you, let's listen to this and get to the bottom of what really happened. Something is very fishy. I can't tell you what, but nothing adds up. And I'll tell you, when you think nothing adds up, my intuition is like spidey senses at times. And this one, it's firing on all cylinders right now. All right, folks. Maryland continues to invite illegals to their state and all the problems that come with it. That's next.
Hi, I'm Caleb, and this is my story. I was born with osteogenesis imperfecta, or brittle bone disease. I have broken my bones almost 200 times, and I have had 11 surgeries. But I didn't let that stop me. I love to bike ride, climb, race, and I'm learning how to stand and walk. But I can only do all of this because of generous people like you and Shriners Hospitals for Children.
Because of people like you, Shriners Hospitals for Children has helped more than 1.3 million kids just like me, regardless of their family's ability to pay.
Shriners Hospitals for Children is only able to provide this world-class, life-changing medical care because of the generous gifts of people just like you.
Because of you, I can ride my bike. I can play basketball.
Because of people like you, I can run.
I can smile.
Will you send your love to the rescue today?
When you go to loveshriners.org right now and give just 63 cents a day, you're helping kids just like me.
Like me.
Like me. When you give today, we'll send you this adorable Love to the Rescue blanket as a thank you and a reminder of the love you gave to a kid just like me.
Your gift, no matter how small, can help a child today.
This is your moment to make a difference.
When you pick up your phone, I know you have it right there, and call to give. You're helping kids like me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Please call or go online now. If operators are busy, please call again or give right away at loveshriners.org.
Your gift makes a difference. Thank you for giving.
How many times have you tried to clean a stubborn mess but end up with no success? What you need is the all-new waterproof Ruby Horsepower, the new cordless and rechargeable power scrubber that cleans faster and easier, guaranteed. Watch, baked on oven grease is no match. It blasts away dirt and grime in no time. The power comes from our rotating brushes, spinning at 350 RPM. The incredible torque fights calcium, mildew, mold, and more. Take it in the kitchen where it busts through caked-on crud, or outside and tackle tough tasks with ease. Get your Ruby Horsepower with 4 additional attachments, all for just $39.99. Great news! They're in stock and ready to ship. Due to high demand, only 2 per order. Order now.
Call 1-800-944-4512. That's 1-800-944-4512, or visit horsepowerscrubber.com. So call 1-800-944-4512 now.
Welcome back, everyone. I want to turn now to the border. Apparently, a Russian member of the military has been arrested crossing into the United States border. He's a Russian mercenary. He's believed to have worked for the Wagner Group. Remember, this was Putin's special forces. There was word they were going to turn on him and all this stuff. Well, he gets caught coming across the southern border with $4,000 in cash, 60,000 Mexican pesos, and a drone, okay? A drone. $4,000 in cash, 60,000 Mexican pesos, and a drone, okay? A drone. $4,000 in cash, 60,000 Mexican pesos, and a drone, okay? A drone. $4,000 in cash, 60,000 Mexican pesos, and a drone, okay? A drone. $4,000 in cash, 60,000 Mexican pesos, and a drone, okay? A drone. $4,000 in cash, 60,000 Mexican pesos, and a drone, okay? A drone. $4,000 in cash, 60,000 Mexican pesos, and a drone, okay? A drone. $4,000 in cash, 60,000 Mexican pesos, and a drone, okay? A drone. $4,000 in cash, 60,000 Mexican pesos, and a drone, okay? A drone. $4,000 in cash, 60,000 Mexican pesos, and a drone, okay? A drone. $4,000 in cash, 60,000 Mexican pesos, and a drone, okay? A drone. $4,000 in cash, 60,000 a drone. What do you think the judge did? The judge, named Scott Heckler, let him go, took his guilty plea, and then released him as time served. Time served was about 4 days, okay? This is the kind of craziness that's going on. We've got to get President Trump back into office. We cannot be letting Russian mercenaries into the United States with drones and all that cash. They're usually up to no good. Turning now to Massachusetts. An illegal alien there was captured with an AR-15, $1 million worth of fentanyl and cocaine. There is the picture on your screen of all of his goods that he had with him. The governor of Massachusetts now says she's going to order an investigation. That how could have this one been in a Massachusetts shelter? Remember, this is a sanctuary state. But I want to remind you, she was asked about whether or not she's going to help Tom Homan deport people. She's outraged now, but listen to this.
If the Trump administration requests it, would the Massachusetts State Police assist in mass deportations?
No, absolutely not.
No, absolutely not. Well, you get what you ask for, okay? That's Massachusetts. The people there are suffering. I think maybe some of them are so left-wing they don't even realize they're suffering, but they should. $1 million worth of fentanyl and cocaine, this will kill children. Young people, forget about kids, just kids. Kill everybody. Well, joining me now from Tijuana, Mexico, Real America's Voice correspondent Oscar Ramirez is with us. Oscar, it's good to see you.
It's always a pleasure to be with you, Grant.
Oscar, I don't know if I'm going to throw a curveball at you. I should have asked first, but have you heard anything about this Russian mercenary that was captured coming across the border?
I didn't hear anything about it, Grant, but it's not the first time that we have seen these kind of individuals coming in and through the United States border. Remember that in the middle of the Darien Gap, we encountered 2 Afghans that they were from the Afghan military, former Afghan militaries, and we have seen all these military-age males that they were former military. You can see it. We have documented from military-age males from Congo, from Cameroon, from Nigeria, also ultimately from Venezuela. So these kind of individuals, these kind of people are the ones that the Biden administration hasn't invited and let in and just process and let go into population.
I know I'm asking you to be a psychic, but what do you think these members of foreign governments, foreign militaries, specifically enemies of ours, what are they doing coming to the United States?
Well, they have bad intentions, Grant. And we have also encountered people from the Chinese, Chinese migrants that were living in the middle of the Darien Gap that they told us that they were also Chinese infiltrated spies coming into the parts of Jacumba. These are people that they don't have good intentions. We have asked also authorities from Central and South America, what do they think that the United States is doing right now with these open border policies? And they have said all of them. We don't know what the United States is doing. They are becoming extremely vulnerable to be attacked by with them. So these people are not coming in with good intentions, Grant. They're coming in with bad intentions, and their motives are completely different of a normal, typical, average migrant.
All right, it's T-minus 6 days before President Trump is sworn into office. You've reported on a number of caravans forming, moving towards the United States. Do you have an update on those?
There's another one that is going to be formulated, and they're going to be coming still on the 18th of December. There's another one that is going to start on the idea and the essence to try to make it before the 20th of January. The migrants, they do not believe that the border is going to be closed. So a great example needs to be set after the 20th of January. A big example needs to be set. And a lot of them, they still don't believe that the CBP-1 app is going to be eliminated. So this is going to be just shocking for a lot of people that they are still coming into, illicitly and illegally through the border of Guatemala into Mexico and also walking on caravans. So on the 18th of January, there's another one that is going to come in also, Grant.
All right, so we've got a congressman from Texas. He's brand new. His name's Brandon Gill. He's introducing legislation that would call for the Remain in Mexico policy to become law, not just an executive action from the president. This is a good idea. Do you think President Trump, or are you hearing anything from your Border Patrol sources, that this CBP-1 app will be shut down on day one and maybe Remain in Mexico gets reinstituted very quickly?
That's what they have told us. They remain, the CBP1 app is going to be completely eliminated. That is not going to be functioning anymore. So you're going to have an enormous bottleneck on all of the borders on the Mexico side and also in the central parts of Mexico. Ultimately, there's a lot of issues coming in with the Remain in Mexico policy of if the mass migration that is going to come on the mass deportations and also from the south. It is going to just create an enormous bottleneck also with the Remain in Mexico policy. So Mexico is going to have to act right now in the state of Baja California, Grant. There is a massive warehouse that is going to be reopened for more than 5,000 people. These are going to open because of the mass deportation. They're already preparing for this kind of situation. So it has to be done. Whether they like it or not, it has to be done.
Real quick, 30 seconds or so. Is the president of Mexico, she's said some good things about getting ready to work with President Trump and the United States. Do you believe her? Do you think we'll get cooperation and buy-in there?
She's cooperating exactly like the past president because it was a threat of a tariff. If it was not a threat of a tariff, they will not be cooperating. They still be on this, Agenda 2030 globalist agenda. They're part of it, Grant. They're just pandering to this because they are potentially going to be a threat of the terror. So the threat of a terrorist needs to remain there all the time for them to be, under watch and for them to follow what we have just talked about to slow down the pace of all this illicit and illegal activity.
Well, that's right there where President Trump stands on this as well. So good news on that under threat of tariff, she will cooperate. We shall ultimately see. And bad news, they're still coming. But Oscar Ramirez, I know you'll be reporting on it as we move forward. We appreciate you as always. Thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank you so much, Grant. It's always an honor to be with you.
Yeah, right back at you. All right, folks, we talk a lot about being prepared on this show, and your health is a big part of that, all right? That's up next.
Hello, Americans. Pat Boone here. The markets are getting a little crazy, and now is the time to protect yourself from economic turmoil. Silver is in the headlines and creating a lot of excitement as the price of silver is very attractive compared to that of gold, of course. Call Swiss America for the scoop on whether this silver opportunity is for real. See, today, silver faces a huge shortage due to rising demand by military, solar, and electric cars, which all depend on silver and can increase prices. So, to help you get started, Swiss America is offering beautiful United States walking Liberty half dollars, minted from 1916 to 1947, in 90% silver for a special introductory price. Limit of $250 per customer while supplies last, of course. So call or text the number on your screen to take advantage of this offer. Rediscover silver today.
Are you having trouble hearing your TV or listening to conversations in loud spaces?
I think as my hearing loss has gotten worse, I'm not as engaging as I was before.
Then it might be time to consider nano hearing aids. The days of expensive hearing aids are over. Recent changes in the law have allowed for over-the-counter hearing aids sold direct and shipped to your home, which means no more having to go to a doctor and spend thousands.
The fact that you're able to go direct, the pricing was phenomenal. It just was a win-win all the way around.
Nano hearing aids are incredibly affordable and deliver outstanding high-quality volume with superior noise reduction.
When you put nanos in your ears, truly amazes me that you can hear so much better.
Don't mistake nanos for cheap amplifiers. Nanos are FDA-registered OTC hearing aids. They are lightweight and simple to use, and their tiny in-ear design makes them nearly invisible. And best of all, they are rechargeable, saving you hundreds of dollars on batteries.
They are so small and so powerful. Just makes my life so much better.
Don't be fooled by overpriced hearing aids. Prescription hearing aids could cost $3,000 or more. Order now and get 2 Nano CIC rechargeable hearing aids for only $397. You get a free portable charging case, a $79 value, free 24/7 lifetime telephone support, and free shipping. Plus, all Nanos come with a 45-day money-back guarantee. Try them, and if you're not happy, return them for a full refund.
Just so easy, so affordable. just go ahead and do it.
Nano hearing aids are only $397. But wait, we are so confident you are going to love your Nanos, we are offering $100 off through this special TV offer. Order now and you'll get 2 Nano CIC rechargeable hearing aids for only $297. Call and order your Nano hearing aids right now and get all the benefits of being able to hear again without having to spend thousands.
Call 800-226-2107. That's 800-226-2107.
Folks, you know what Quitter's Day is? It's the second Friday of January, when everybody quits their New Year's resolutions. Not if you're on the Energized Health System, though. This thing's going to get you through to a new life. Just listen to people talk about it.
So if you don't know what a GFR is, when you have kidney failure, they tell you that's impossible to reverse. It will only
That's what the doctor told me.
Yep. So every doctor will tell every kidney patient you can only slow it down, but you can never get it going back in the right direction, right? That's what they told you, right?
Correct.
But it is going in the right direction. It did reverse, and it is going the other way. And this is what happens at Energized Health. We reverse the irreversible.
All of his numbers are going up in the right direction and going down, but the biggie was the GFR for his kidney disease, and anybody who has this condition. You promised this last week. The numbers are going in the right way. Just keep doing what you're doing. And you've made a new man out of him. I swear he's a believer now.
And brother, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
And I'm old.
Tell him how old you are.
But you know what?
83 years old.
You just learned something new and you implemented it.
Yeah,
I honor you for having a new strategy, a new way of life, and now you have a new trajectory of your life.
Lorraine, hit that one more time, girl.
Hold it up, Lorraine, so they know what it is.
All right.
That was easy.
We're going to bring this to the doctor's office, too, and we're going to thank him for the Christmas present that we don't have to do dialysis.
Let's go.
Oh,
Let's go.
Folks, that's fabulous. That's what Energized Health gets you. Okay, EnergizedHealth.com. I was on the program. It worked for me. I'm not that old. I thought I was old. But to tell you, this is for everybody. John Jubilee is here. Happy New Year, John. Welcome back.
Well, Happy New Year, Grant. Glad to be here.
Hey, set that story up. I mean, that's amazing. So literally no drugs, no anything like that, just the Energized Health program. You got his kidney going back in the right way?
Now, you know what, Grant? This is like the story of our life, right? At Energized Health, we have people. We call it the miracle of the day because every day, Grant, we have somebody. Their doctor said, "Okay, you're on dialysis. You're never going to get off. This is just your life now. You got to come 2-3 times a week, do your dialysis treatment. Your GFR is just going to keep going down. We'll try to manage it." It's not true, Grant. And here's another one. That literally just reversed all of that. He's off his dialysis. His kidneys are doing great. There's a guy on the front of our website, Dr. Brian Taylor. He's a doctor, Grant, and 6 of his colleagues said you'll never reverse it. You can only manage it. It's just going to keep getting a little worse every year. But somebody on the Real America's Voice Network recommended him to us, Grant. And actually, this guy, there he is, Dr. Brian Taylor. So Dr. Brian Taylor said, I don't believe, but because you came so highly recommended by someone I know and trust, I'm at least going to try it. And now his testimony is part of our website. There's as many as 90% of people, Grant, that have kidney failure that don't even know it. And if that scares you a little bit, I hope it does, because if you ever drink water and you don't feel satiated, you don't feel like, oh, yeah, I feel good now. If you still feel thirsty after you drink water or you crave sugar, you also could be one of the 90% of people that has or will have kidney failure. But the good news is you can reverse it.
You know, it's amazing because I'm not a doctor, but you came highly recommended to me. In fact, it may have been that I saw you on the show. We talked. I jumped on the program and lost 15 pounds in 2 weeks. I mean, so I'm a believer. This is your trick right here. You get people going on this thing and everyone's going to be your biggest cheerleader because it works. Last word in about 15 seconds, John.
No, real quick for everybody. Guys, don't do the same old stuff that we've all done. Don't make the mistakes that we've all made. Try something new. This is a breakthrough science. There's zero pressure, guys. We 100% money back guarantee everything we do because it's been working for 28 years for tens of thousands of people. Let's go, man. Make the best you 2025.
I've been joking. I overestimated the success of John Jubilee and the Energized Health Program. I said 99.9% success rate. He says, no, Grant, you got it wrong. It's 99.1. We've done the math. We don't want to oversell ourselves. 99.1 is pretty damn good, John Jubilee. I appreciate you coming on tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Grant. Let's go.
All right. You got it. EnergizedHealth.com, folks. EnergizedHealth.com. Go pay them a visit. I mean it. Change your life. I promise you, you're going to be better for it. You're going to be happier. You're going to feel better. You're going to be more energized. This system's awesome, and it really did. It helped change my life. All right, Fox's Peter Ducey and Karine Jean-Pierre make up after years of animosity. It's heartwarming. Could this be true?
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, ride your bike.
If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it.
If you're happy and you know it, smile big and bright.
Thousands of kids just like me are happy every day.
And it's all because of generous people like you who support Shriners Hospitals for Children every month.
All you have to do is call the number on your screen or go online to loveshriners.org right now with your monthly gift.
Because of people like you, Shriners Hospitals for Children is able to make an everyday miracle happen for kids like me.
If you're happy and you know it, dance around. If you're happy and you know it, play a song.
If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it.
If you're happy and you know it, take your shot.
And when you call or go online right now to donate $19 a month or more, we'll send you this adorable Love to the Rescue blanket as a thank you and a reminder of all the smiles you're bringing to kids' faces every day.
Will today be the day you send your love to the rescue?
When you call the number on your screen right now and give as little as $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, you'll be making a life-changing difference for a child, just like Sarah.
Your monthly gift today could change your life forever.
Because of you.
We are happy and we know it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please call or go online right now to give. If operators are busy, please wait patiently or go to loveshriners.org right away.
You asked, and we heard you, America.
Real America's Voice is coming to iHeartMedia.
Yes, Real America's Voice is now breaking through the white noise of the mainstream media.
Just download the iHeart app, and you'll have all of us right at your fingertips.
Scan the QR code and start streaming RAV anywhere you want.
Real America's Voice, available whenever you need us.
It's never been easier to stay connected with the voices you trust.
RAV on iHeart means you can take us with you wherever you go.
This is huge. The truth on iHeart. Ready whenever you are. From Charlie Kirk to Steve Bannon, Jack Posobiec to Grant Stinchfield, you'll find all your favorite RAV hosts in one place.
You can listen on Spotify, Apple, Pandora, or Amazon. RAV is now available everywhere you get your podcasts. All you need to do is scan the QR code right now.
Download the iHeart app today and get ready for Real America's Voice.
Scan the QR code and join the RAV movement.
Folks, check out this little interaction between Fox's Peter Ducey and Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre.
Thank you for always. You could have stopped taking the hard questions years ago, and you didn't. So we appreciate that.
Over 2 years, my friend. This is let's say one last dance, right? I don't know how I'm going to fill my dance card now. How will I fill that void without you?
You tell me. You tell me.
Is that a kiss and make up? I don't know. I think that's a friendly ha ha ha. I'm glad I don't have to do this with you anymore. It's going to be a lot easier with President Trump's press secretary, who's very cool, by the way. All right, folks, that's it for us. Stinchfield's Army rolls. See you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
live from Studio 6B on a Monday. Brand new week started. Glad you're in. January 13th, Real America's Voice. Mr. Nolan sitting next to me here. We're riding, well, it's just me and you, kid.
Like Batman and Robin.
Like Batman and Robin. Delgado's going to be a little late. Slick's got his chamber stuff tonight, so he'll be a little late as well. So welcome on in, everybody in the chat. Facebook, X, Rumble, Getter. Wherever you're watching, welcome on in as well. Glad you're a part of the show on a Monday night.